Let's make chickpea quinoa burgers and potato wedges.
Getting ready to make some herb potato wedges tonight with our chickpea quinoa burger. So we're gonna go ahead and do the potato wedges first because they take a little longer. Then we can get these cooking and then we can come back. So I've just cut up some potatoes, just like a little wedge. I have some olive oil. So I have my seasonings, my herbs that I'm gonna go ahead and put in a bowl. So I have some olive oil in here, I have some thyme, and I have some parsley, all fresh herbs. So then we're gonna go ahead and put a little bit of salt and pepper in here. You know, me and my seasoned pepper. I'm gonna stir all that together to get all the herbs mixed up. And then I'm gonna go ahead and drizzle all this over the potato wedges. I'm just gonna put it all over the potato wedges like so. And so that's how they should look. And I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the oven. Fine. We're gonna caramelize the peppers and onions that are gonna go onto this quinoa burger. And what we're gonna use is some of the DivineKuizine sugar spice. Okay, so we have our olive oil in the pan. I have some red onion, I have some red pepper, orange pepper, and you can use whatever color peppers you want to. And I got some jalapeno pepper. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the saute pan. And then I'm gonna season them with a little pinch of salt, seasoned pepper, onion powder, and this is like 1/8 of a teaspoon, a little bit of garlic powder, pinch of cayenne pepper, just a little bit, DivineKuizine sugar spice. We're gonna do probably like probably a teaspoon. Go ahead and put a teaspoon in of the sugar spice, probably 2 tablespoons of butter. Let all this saute and come together and soften up and caramelize. So okay y'all, so I have made some quinoa earlier. So quinoa, if you don't know how to make quinoa, it's really simple. I have the tricolor quinoa, and what you do is pretty much just boil it. I put a little bouillon cube in there, and I put some salt in there and let it boil until it gets nice and tender. And then I made some chickpeas. You can buy chickpeas, but I always like to make dried beans, or I always have dried beans around. So I made some chickpeas today. It does take a little time, but it's easy to do. All you have to do is boil them. And I put some garlic in there, garlic, onion, salt, pepper, a little bouillon cube. Go ahead and just let that. It's gonna take you about 45 minutes to an hour to get them really nice and tender. Or you can kind of soak them the night before and then go ahead and boil them. And we're gonna probably do about 2 cups of quinoa and 1.5 cups of the chickpeas. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some of the quinoa. And I have tricolor quinoa, but you can use just the regular. That's just what I had, just the tricolor quinoa. So I'm gonna use all of this, and then we're going to take the chickpeas that I made earlier as well, and we're going to kind of drain some of the liquid off, and we're gonna put some of those in here as well. So what I have here is I have some colored pepper. Well, let's start this way. I have some fresh garlic. So you're gonna mince up some fresh garlic. I have some peppers. I have red and orange peppers. But you can use whatever type of colored peppers you want to. But I thought these would be really pretty and I had them on hand. So we're gonna put some of the peppers in there. We have some smoked paprika. I think that would be good to give it a nice little smoky flavor. And I always love my green seasoning. So I have about a teaspoon of green seasoning. Salt. So we're gonna go ahead and Put a little salt in it. We have some seasoned pepper. You don't have to use a lot because you've already kind of seasoned your beans and your quinoa. So just be kind of careful with that. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna smash all this together. But I'm gonna go ahead and get a plate and kind of, when I patty them, go ahead and put a little panko breadcrumb just to give it, you know, that texture, kind of like a little crispy texture on top. Okay, so we done. Woo, Jesus. Okay, so we got, what you're gonna do, once you got your quinoa, you mashed up your quinoa and your chickpeas and all your seasonings and peppers together. You can mash it just like how I mash it, or you can use a food processor. You might want to use a food processor if you don't want to do all that work, but it will look something like this. Okay, so we mashed up our quinoa burger. So now we're gonna roll it into the panko breadcrumbs. That's gonna help, or I'm gonna kind of put some panko breadcrumbs on it. That's gonna give it texture and another binding, type of binding mechanism. I'm gonna try to get them as best round as you can. It smells good though, y'all. Burgers, quinoa burgers, and we have some cheese. So now I'm getting ready to gonna go ahead and pan fry these on top of the stove. We're gonna put a little bit of the olive oil, or some of the olive oil, in the pan. I have the pan on medium-high heat right now. In the pan. So I'm getting ready to put the quinoa burger in there. And we want them to get golden brown on one side, and I'm gonna flip them, let it continue to cook, and put the cheese on it. One over.
Everybody else, like,
Oh, let me show you this herb. I'm gonna go ahead and put the cheese on it. Hey y'all, so now we just finished making our chickpea quinoa burger and our herb potatoes. So now we're getting ready to assemble using the DivineKuizine remoulade sauce. I'm a saucy girl, so I'm gonna go in with the DivineKuizine remoulade sauce as our mayo. This is another way that you can use the DivineKuizine. Cheese on it came out nice and crispy. Put those on top. That look good, y'all. On top. And top it with some arugula. Like that. That looks good. And then we have our herb potatoes that we made. The quinoa burger with herb potatoes. Okay, y'all, so I can't wait to go in and eat this chickpea quinoa burger, which I use DivineKuizine's remoulade sauce as the mayo, and the peppers, the caramelized peppers on the burger, will use DivineKuizine's sugar spice. These are two ways that you can use two of my products. Once again, don't say that I hadn't showed you something out here. What's the tea? It's good. It's a little spicy. You got a kick. It's good, y'all. It's good. And then the panko breadcrumbs give it a different texture, because the quinoa to me and the chickpeas is a little soft. And then when you put the panko breadcrumbs, it gives it more of a depth of binding and more of a different kind of texture where not everything is just soft. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Come on over, become part of the family. To get this recipe and more, go to DivineKuizine.com. Love y'all, Chef Shay.